So here I'm continuing the review. I'm doing the more algebraic page of review problems. I'm going to start with substitution. Substitution is when you have one equation already solved for a letter. Here we have y is equal to negative 3x plus 20. And so I'm allowed to substitute that for the letter y right there. This creates an equation only in terms of the letter x. So I write 4x plus 8y. Instead of just writing the letter y, I write negative 3x plus 20, because that is equal to the letter y. Now it's an equation just in x, and so I'm going to distribute the 8. So I have 4x, 8 times 3, minus 24x, 8 times 20, plus 160, equals 0. Combine my like terms. So I have negative 20x, and I'm going to subtract 160 to get rid of the 160. So negative 20x equals negative 160. From there, all we have to do is divide by negative 20 on both sides. Divide by negative 20 on both sides. So that tells me that x equals 8. Okay, I'm not done. I need both letters, and so I'm going to substitute x equals 8 back into the top equation. We'll just ignore this guy for now, so I have a little more space to write. So x equals 8. Substitute that into the top equation. Y equals negative 3 times 8 plus 20. Y equals negative 24 plus 20. And that means that y equals negative 4. Okay, that's my solution, 8 comma negative 4. You should double check your solution using the other equation. The other equation says 4 times x plus 8 times y equals 0. You can readily see it's the same problem, 4 times 8 and 8 times 4. This one's positive 32, this one's negative 32, and so that does indeed equal 0. So that's it for problem 6. Now, we'll erase all of that and move on to problem 7. Problem 7 is another substitution problem. We'll follow basically the same steps. It's got to be a faster erase. There we go. Okay, there is a faster way. So number 7, we have y equals x minus 2. Same basic idea. I can just grab x minus 2 and substitute it for the letter y. So then my top equation becomes negative 8x plus 2y equals negative 10. Same sort of thing. When you see a number touching parentheses, you distribute the number. So negative 8x plus 2x, and then 2 times 2. Combine your like terms. So negative 8x plus 2x makes negative 6x. I'm going to add a 4. So I have negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 6. Dividing cancels it out, so I get x is equal to 1. Remember, we're not done until we have both letters. Plug in x equals 1. The bottom equation is already solved for us, so I'm just going to plug it into the bottom equation. Y equals x minus 2. Y equals 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. It's a good idea to double check. So I'm going to double check using that top equation, negative 8x plus 2y equals negative 10. So negative 8 times x plus 2 times y give me negative 10. That's a negative 8 minus 2, and that gives me negative 10. So it checks out. Okay. Moving right along to the elimination problems. Elimination, when you have your standard form equations, you can see the x's and the y's, the like terms are lined up on top of each other. Problem 8 is ready to eliminate because you have a negative 4x and a positive 4x. Our goal is to eliminate, and so we want to add these two equations together. Now, why did I say add? Because a negative 4x and a positive 4x add to equal 0, so they're eliminated. Negative 4y plus 2y makes negative 2y. Negative 8 plus negative 2 makes negative 10. By adding, I made 0 x's and I eliminated that variable. Divide by negative 2, so we can get y is equal to 5. Substitute y equals 5 back. You can use either one of those equations. Doesn't matter which one you use. I'll just use the top equation. The top equation, let's just cross this out for now. The top equation says negative 4x minus 4y, so I replace it with 5, equals negative 8. So that's negative 4x minus 20 equals negative 8, plus 20 to both sides. To isolate the variable, negative 4x equals 12, and then divide by negative 4. So x equals negative 3. It's a funny looking 3. Okay. Just because of the length of the video, I'm not going to double check my answer here. But you can substitute them both in to either equation to double check. I'm going to continue with problem 9. I want you to notice a very similar situation on problem 9. We have our x's lined up, we have our y's lined up, but in this case, I don't want to add the two equations. Adding the equations would not eliminate them. Subtracting will, because if you have the same number of y's, subtracting will equal 0. So I'm going to go top minus bottom. Negative x minus 2x makes negative 3x. Negative y minus negative y makes 0. And negative 1 minus 2 makes negative 3. Divide both sides by negative 3, and you get x is equal to 1. You still need to figure out what the y value is, so I'm going to substitute x equals 1 into the top equation. Negative x minus y equals negative 1. I want to get y by itself, so I can go plus 1 to both sides. And that means that negative y equals 0, which means that y is equal to 0. You can divide by negative 1. You can check that that makes sense for both equations. Okay, moving along to number 10. You can see on number 10, it doesn't matter if I add the equations together or if I subtract the equations together, nothing will cancel out. What I notice though is that the bottom equation has a 10x and the top equation has a 20x. So what comes to my mind is multiplying the bottom equation by 2 times 2 times 2. I'm going to rewrite both equations on top of each other again. Top equation, nothing has happened to it. Still 20x minus 5y equals 10. Bottom equation got doubled, so negative 20x plus 8y equals 20. Why did I double it? Now look what happened. My x's match up. There's a positive x and a negative x, so I'm going to add these two equations together because a positive and a negative will eliminate. Positive 20 and negative 20 eliminate. Negative 5y and positive 8y makes positive 3y. 10 plus 20 makes 30. Divide both sides by 3, and we get y is equal to 10. Like that. We still need to figure out what x is. You can plug it back into either equation. I'll just use the top one. 20x minus 5 times y, which was 10, equals 10. So we have 20x minus 50 equals 10, plus 50 plus 50. So we have 20x equals 60, and divide by 20 to get x is equal to 3. Double check that that works with your other equation. Last but not least, we have a really nasty elimination problem where neither of the variables match up and neither of them go into each other. On number 10, 10 went into 20 for the x's, but 2 doesn't go into 7 and 3 doesn't go into 4. So on this one, you need to multiply both equations. I like to just match up either one, doesn't matter which one. Let's just match up the x's. All you have to do is grab the coefficient from the other equation. What I mean is, to make a 2 and a 7 match up, multiply 2 times 7, multiply 7 times 2. So all I'm doing is copying the coefficient from the bottom equation and multiplying the top, and same with the other. 2 times 7x makes 14x, 2 times negative 4y, 2 times 11. 7 times negative 2x, 7 times negative 3y, 7 times 30. Now they're matched up. We have a positive and a negative, so we're going to add those two equations together. So here we have 0x, we have negative 29y, we have, what is that, 232. 232. I bet that if we divide by 29, we'll get a whole number. I'm going to divide by negative 29. So we get y equals, just grabbing a calculator, 232 divided by 29 is 8. We have a negative 8. Now, just like all the other problems, plug back in. I'll use the top equation. 7x minus 4y equals 11. Two negatives make a positive, so 4 times 8 makes 32. Subtract 32 to isolate the variable. So 7x equals negative 21, and divide by 7, and you get your answer, x equals negative 3. I'm going to pause the video here and make one final video to do the word problem.